Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Ulsil, and today I'm going makeup free because I'm going to do review and a little demo of the Natasha Denona Hy-Glam Concealer. I just want you to keep in mind that when you're watching reviews in general, and my reviews as well, opinions can change. I've experienced that myself, that even after using a product for a year or more, my opinion can still change because there might be a change of seasons, skin conditions, there might be user error, etc. that may affect how I feel about it. But I've used this concealer now for about 2 months, and I feel like I've gotten to know this product pretty well, and I've definitely made an opinion about it, and I am really eager to share, and really also to share how I managed to choose the right shade for me, because I found that to be quite difficult when you can only watch the shades online and you can't really swatch them in stores or anything like that. So I'll go more in depth about that process later on, because this shade that I got ended up to be perfect. My shade is N2. I'm going to need my glasses for this because I'm going to read to you what it says on the website. It says it's a hybrid full glam corrector and concealer that consists of high-tech active ingredients that work instantly and over time to brighten dark circles, reduce puffiness, and blur the appearance of fine lines and wrinkles after 28 days of daily use. I don't know about that one, but reduces puffiness and blurs, yeah. I mean, the appearance of fine lines, it's hard to tell, really. I don't know. Also, I've alternated between this concealer and a few other concealers in my collection, so that could affect the result, of course. And it also says that it's a long-lasting creaseless concealer with a natural medium buildable coverage with luminous matte finish. The Hy-Glam concealer is made with biomimetic pigments and texture perfecting microspheres for flawless airbrushed results with a weightless natural look and flexible feel with up to 19-hour wear. I don't know if it lasts 19 hours. I don't think I've tried that, but it lasts all day, so for me at least, because I will say it doesn't settle into fine lines the same way other concealers do, but I do make sure to just tap my under eyes gently once in a while throughout the day, just to make sure that it looks nice. I do feel like I have to do that because it does settle just a tiny bit, but really the least amount of settling that I've ever experienced. And also I make sure to powder the areas I have concealed, for especially in the face, for it to last. What else? It's cruelty-free, vegan, and paraben-free, and it's made in Italy. The container itself is just super luxurious and looks very like exclusive and nice and expensive looking. I feel like it's a little bit more unique in shape. It has this rubbery soft feel to the cap, and then there's this bent doe foot applicator that makes it really easy to apply, and it even gives you directions on the website as to how to use the wand, and that's pretty much how I do it. I realize I didn't look at this until now that I was going to prepare for this video, but it says that for face and under eyes, you can use the flat side of the applicator when applying under the eye and large areas of the face for fuller coverage. And I mean, I've seen people do this or use this as a foundation, and a lot of the times I have done the same thing where I just cover the areas in my face that I feel like needs some extra coverage, and I've left it at that because this does an extraordinary job at blending in with my skin without it looking cakey or unnatural, even though it's so pigmented, which I find very fascinating. I don't know how they do that, but yeah. And then for spot concealing, use the pointed tip of the applicator and blend with a makeup sponge, foundation brush, or a clean finger. I only used my fingers with this one. I just like using them as a tool for a lot of my makeup products, especially, you know, the creamy or liquid products that I use on my face, because I just feel like it blends in better with the warmth of my fingers. And then it also, like a pro tip from Natasha, she says that when concealing under eye circles, just let the concealer set for a couple of minutes after application, and to avoid creasing, gently blend from the outer corner of the eye going inwards using a clean dry finger, and then optional follow with powder. Yeah, I haven't tried that. I like to do one dot in the inner parts of my eyes, and whatever, like on this eye there's some blue areas from my veins, I just dot those areas and I pat it in like that. I don't even feel the need to use a corrector, even though I don't think I picked a shade that's supposed to correct at the same time, because they have different letters for different, meaning different things, like C for cool, of course, and for neutral. Actually, no, C is for correcting, and P is for peach. It's a little bit confusing, I will say that. We'll get into that later. I feel like since it's a matte formula, I don't find it necessarily always to set it for me, because I have normal to dry skin, and at the moment I'm extremely dry. So I definitely don't feel the need to set it at the moment. I'm just having my phone here for reference because I've noted a bunch of things that I need to say in this video. So sorry if I'm like looking at this direction. So the thing with this formula, it's a liquid but creamy formula. So it's rather thick, but and a little bit like gel-like in a way, but this specific formula makes it really easy to create full coverage, but at the same time make it look natural. And it's very smooth, and it's just, it blends very easily into the skin. And it makes my super dry skin look much better. And I will say, I have, for the past few weeks, I've had major issues, especially underneath this eye. I don't know if it's severe dryness or an allergic reaction or eczema. I've tried different things. I've tried different skin products. I've talked to a skin doctor. Like, I've done a lot of things. And I might do a video separately on that subject. But I will say that this concealer has been the only thing I've been able to put underneath my eyes these weeks that doesn't irritate my eyes more, or my under eyes more, the skin, or makes it sting or burn or anything like that. It doesn't do, it doesn't add any more irritation to the area of my concern. Although I will also say that lately I've just been avoiding makeup altogether, because I just need the skin to breathe and help it calm down and go back to normal. So, and with this eye, I'm gonna be able to show you, this is like my normal eye, what it normally looks like. Pretty dry still, but you'll see more of a normal result with this one. And then when you have problems, real problems with your skin, that's how you're gonna see the results of that underneath this eye, I would say. And I have dryness, Around my nose, I have some hyperpigmentation on this side. No, I'm sorry, this side of my cheek. I have just a few spots. I don't have any problems with acne really, but it happens, and I've used this concealer on spots, and it's works wonders for that. What else? And just some redness, blue veins, things like that. My skin is like porcelain. You can see right through it, and it's very, very fair. So yeah, I have more problems like with super transparent skin rather than acne, but so that's a little bit of my background. Okay, so let's move on to choosing the shade. It has a shade range of 50 colors, which is amazing. It has correcting colors, cool, warm, neutral, everything you can think of. I chose one that isn't especially brightening, so if I want a more brightening concealer, I would have to get a lighter shade, but I feel like this is a little bit correcting, and it works underneath my eyes as well as in my face. And because it has such good coverage, I can use it as a multitask, multi-use product. Even for $30, 7 milliliters for $30 is expensive. It's very expensive. But when you can use it for so many things, it's almost like I don't feel the need to use foundation in addition to this one, which is amazing. So it works kind of as a corrector, under eye concealer, foundation, and a face concealer all in one. And for me, with the dry skin, I don't really have to set it, at least not much either. And so even though the price is high, I feel like it's worth it. For minor under eye circles or spot concealing, use one or all of our shade matching methods to detect your ideal shade that matches your skin tone best. So for blue or purple under eye circles, select a concealer shade from the peach group. In your overtone, fair, light, medium, tan, dark, or deep, or a correcting concealer with shades C1 to C6 of your overtone. And then if you have dark brown under eye circles, select a concealer shade from the rosy group in your overtone row, fair, light, medium, tan, dark, deep. And then for hyperpigmentation, select a Hy-Glam corrector shade that matches your overtone, C1 fair, C2 light, C3 medium, C4 tan, C5 dark, and C6 deep. And even though she explains it so well on her website, but this is still confusing to me. There's a lot of information, and which it has to be when there's 50 shades to choose from. So there's a few ways you can. When I did the shade finder, this was the matching shade, N2. So I wrote that one down. Actually, I started off writing down all the shades that I kind of thought was possibly good matches for me, so I could start eliminating. That was where I started. And then so N2 was my match from the shade finder. I found that to be a pretty good help, but I didn't depend on that and trust that completely. I had to do some more research, and I watched all of Natasha Denona's videos on this specific concealer. She has a few ones out on YouTube and on her website. They're very informative and really nice to watch, and I did wrote down a few more options from those videos. So that's very nice. She's doing the best she can to help you find the right shade. I'm really grateful for that, but it still is a lot, So, and then I also watched a bunch of other videos. And also I will say that she says on the website that she also includes golden and olive undertones, which goes under yellow, from what I understand. And I think that's really nice because I know it can be really hard to find the right concealer for those with olive skin or undertones. So my overtone has always been fair, but the last few years that I've ordered different base products like foundation and concealer and powder, I've found that it's more accurate to say light. So I've moved more on to light. I don't know if I'm more competent at choosing the right shade, or if my skin tone or overtone has changed slightly. I actually think it's the last part, because I feel like I used to be more cool when it comes to undertone, and then it sort of has developed into more of a neutral leaning cool. It's very confusing. And then with a light overtone. So I did find that for me, when first looking just on the shades at the website, I found that N3 looked really nice, and I thought that N3 was possibly the perfect shade for me. But then when I did researches on and looked at videos on YouTube, I found that N3 is just way too dark for me. So anything above that was a no-go. So that was kind of eliminated. And then I found that either Rosy 2 or Peach 2 would be good sort of correct and conceal shades. But then she is talking about the C line being more of a correcting shade. So I guess C1 or C2 would be good as correctors for me. I don't know. I might try that in the future. I'm so satisfied with the Charlotte Tilbury little corrector that she has. So I'm leaning more into repurchasing one of those. That's a more thinner, lighter formula. And I feel like when building and adding these different formulas on top of each other, I want as thin makeup layer as possible. That's what I prefer. So I think layering a thin corrector first and then applying just a tiny bit of this Natasha Denona concealer would be perfect for me. And then I found that Y2, Yellow 2, and Yellow Peach 3, so YP3, those two would be good for covering hyperpigmentation. But then I realized after I got this concealer that it really covers just about anything you have in your face. I feel like this review is all over the place. Please write your questions down below if you have any, if I wasn't clear on some of these things that I'm trying to explain here. I just wanted to do a video that gives you the answer to the things that I was wondering before I purchased this one. Because, you know, it's a lot of money. It's such a shame when you finally decide to purchase this and then the color is completely off. Before I got this, my favorite concealer is the Catrice True Skin Concealer, and I will say that this is a good alternative for the Natasha Denona. This performs very well as a concealer, and I'm really happy with this concealer. Now I will say that this most likely will be a repurchase, but because it's so expensive, I might also repurchase these in the future. But the thing with these two, I got one for my under eyes and one for my face. So just for reference, so you can see the difference, just in case maybe you have these concealers yourself. I've got number 010 Cool Cashmere, which is more of a brightening concealer. This is a little bit too light to apply to my face, but it works great underneath my eyes. It's brightening and gives good coverage. It doesn't settle too much into fine lines. A little bit more than this one though, just so you guys know, but there's not much of a difference. And this is affordable, cruelty-free, just a great concealer. So I will definitely recommend this one if you're on a budget. But yeah, that's Cool Cashmere 010, and then we have Warm Macadamia 005. So this is what I put on my face. As you can see, way more yellow than Cool Cashmere. So, and it just, that works because my skin tone is neutral leaning cool. But I could never use this as an all over like foundation the way I do this. But let's actually, I haven't tried this, but I'm gonna mix these two together and see the results of that. Okay, so there you have it. This is the Natasha Denona on the bottom there. It's way more similar to this shade, I would say, but it has more yellow to it. So I'm wondering if this might be a mixture of these two. I'm gonna check that out actually and see if it looks the same. I would say that they're pretty similar, but not identical. This is actually just a better match for my skin, basically. I don't know how you put it on the screen. I'm not very good with technology. So I'm gonna go on the Natasha Denona website and do this test that they have with you. So we have take the quiz and then shade finder. So let's do take the quiz first. Discover your perfect shade match for Hy-Glam Concealer by answering a few simple questions and see your personalized recommendations. She has pictures of different skin concerns, is what she says. How would you define your concealer needs or skin concerns? So we have brighten and conceal, cover minor under eye circles and blemishes, hyperpigmentation, or brown under eye circles, blue under eye circles. I don't remember what I answered last time. I'm guessing I picked the blue under eye circles. Which overtone shade matches your skin tone? I don't remember if I said fair or light, because as I explained to you, it's sometimes it's fair, sometimes it's light. When choosing these different concealers and foundations, I'm gonna choose light. Which undertone matches your skin tone? So we have one that's, I'm not sure, then neutral, rosy, peach, and yellow. I'm gonna do neutral. Which shade do you gravitate towards? And then I get 3 pictures to choose from. I'm gonna choose the lightest one here. Should I? Yeah, the lightest one. Which skin tone looks similar to yours? And again, we have 3 different faces. I feel like it's one of the top ones, and I find it hard to say. Maybe the one on this side. Let's choose that one. So your perfect shade, it says shade N2, which was the one that I chose. And then it also says for a corrector, shade C1. So if you go back to the concealers again where you pick your shade, there's also a shade finder that you can click on where you can apply the brand that you're currently using. Let's see if I find Catrice. So they had the True Skin Concealer. So I'm gonna first pick the Warm Macadamia, which is the one for my face, that I use for my face. And because I chose that, based on the 1 nuance you entered, your best match is N4. Okay. And then what if I do the same thing just with the one I use underneath my eyes, which is Cool Cashmere. Let's see what they match me. They match me with N2. So again, N2 comes up. So yeah, I just find these to be very helpful. So I've done my skincare routine today. I've applied, oh my gosh. Again, I'll do a separate video on my skincare routine these days, but I have some under eye cream here and my skin is all ready for this concealer. Okay, so this is my bad eye. This is my good eye. But on my good eye, this is normally my bad eye. This is just because I have some sort of an allergic reaction, eczema, or just super dry skin. I don't know what it is, but right now it looks so much better when I've applied my eye cream, so it's more hydrated and nice. But let's start with the eye that is at the time the normal good eye. But this has the more problems normally. I have more blue veins showing on underneath this eye. I have some like more dark areas. It's more sunken in, if you know what I mean. And then also I have this little hyperpigmentation spot, and I have some right here as well. And I just have some areas with like skin being more transparent, some acne, scarring, some redness. And then on this eye, as if you can see, if I tug my skin and make faces, it doesn't really do a whole lot. You can just see the skin is moving a little bit, but with this one, the whole eye is lifting because the severity of my dryness and my problem here. You can also see some like fine lines and wrinkles. When I do some faces, you can see that there's definitely, yeah, some fine lines that the concealer can possibly settle in. So let's see. Okay, if we start with this, the good eye, I just do one little dot here, and I do two smaller dots on the outer part where I have some blue veins showing through. And then I'm going to do the hyperpigmentation spot and the bigger one right here. And I have a little bit to cover right here. I have some redness around my nose. I have a little bit right here. Right here. Hopefully you can see how little product I'm actually applying. And then for my problem eye, I'm just applying about this much. Yeah. And then just a little dot right there. And I think we're good. So I don't want to let this eye sit with a lot of product. I don't need for it to sit because it's so dry. It's sort of like drinks up any product I put on it. So I just want to go straight in and start blending this eye in first, and we'll see. Using my fingers, I mean, if you are more comfortable using sponges, feel free to do that, or brushes or whatever, but I'm more comfortable with my skin. And as you can see, this looks pretty bad, but just keep in mind that I have major issues with this eye, and you can now see how dry it really is, but the concealer has helped to cover the redness, which is really all I'm asking for these days. I'm not expecting the concealer to fix my skin issues. I just want it to look a little bit better. So from afar, it doesn't look that bad. I'm going to zoom you out when I'm done with the whole blending part. And then with the normal eye, let's see what it does. So I'm just gently tapping in. I know you're supposed to use your ring finger, but I ended up using my middle finger. Sorry about that. I just use gently tapping motions. And I feel like it completely blends in with the skin. It looks very natural, I feel like. It's not like super matte, but it's so matte that I don't really feel like I have to powder this down too much. I don't think I'm going to powder it at all. And then around my nose. And I mean, I could cover my whole face, I guess, but I still want my skin to look natural and show through. I just want to say, if you guys have any idea about my skin condition right here, do you think it's just dryness? The skin doctor, dermatologist, is that what it's called in English? Yeah, I think so. She said that it's peroneal dermatitis, which I don't think it is. Like, from what I've googled, it doesn't look like that at all. It has some like areas of redness at nighttime, but it's really just a super dry area, I feel like. I don't know. Let me know if you have any knowledge around that topic. But yeah, as you can see, this was my hyperpigmentation spot. You can still see that it's there, you know? And I do like to powder this a little bit after I've applied concealer in order for it to set, but and stay for longer. But I feel like it did a pretty good job at covering that area. And you know, I still have some redness here and there. I don't care too much about it. I just want to cover my problem areas, and then the rest can be left natural. I don't know. But this is what it looks like now. As you can see, you can still see a lot of like sunken in areas. That's just me getting older, I guess. And it's different. I don't have that on this eye, but then again, I have this problem area at the moment, so the concealer doesn't do magic, and I'm sure I could do or apply the concealer in a different way with different techniques, add more. Maybe I should actually add a little bit more where it's more like sunken in. Should I do that? I guess I'm doing it just to see what happens when I do that. Yeah, it didn't do much. But yeah, I just wanted to be as realistic as possible when doing this review, because I want to be as helpful as possible. And so I'm choosing natural lighting here and natural realistic skin with different problem areas, and I really hope that you found this helpful. So that's all. I feel like the shade is perfect for me. I mean, I'm surprised, considering the fact that I do look like a ghost, that I didn't have to have the lightest shade that they have. But I find this to be perfect. So it's going to be interesting when summer arrives if it's too light for me then, but I don't think it is, especially not underneath my eyes, because I could definitely have chosen a more brightening concealer for my under eyes, but I feel like this works good for my whole entire face. So I'm very, very, very pleased with this concealer. So yeah, that's that. Absolutely a concealer I would recommend for so many people. I'm gonna end this review now. I hope you guys found this helpful. Again, if you have any questions, write them down below and I'll try to answer them the best I can. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Bye.